Guten Tag to everyone in the online world. This is basically the synopsis of whatever we have discussed over the last couple of days from the point of view of creating data sets and particularly sanitizing the internet, the way the internet should be sanitized, and forming protocols, new and old, amending the protocol so that we are able to achieve the goals of sustainable development goals by 2030. So, I'll mute myself for a while, fetch the data sets, and then we start. So, I'm putting myself on mute. Okay, we would be discussing few of the architectural framework around EOS and EOS, particularly when it is delegated as proof of stake. So that's the first. Or perhaps I should start with the other one. I'm thinking, okay, or we can talk about the proof of transaction consensus algorithm also. Um, I think I'll first start with this EOS blockchain system, and then we'll get to the other part of it. So, okay, yeah. So we are looking at algorithms. There are different algorithms. I have my own algorithm. So The one which we are working on, that's the US studies are being developed as I speak, and a lot of work is ongoing, and it will continue because we are working on an Impula network. It's particularly also getting a new operating systems, and that would be very different from Android. Then we have the iOS and stuff. But what we are doing is utilizing and achieving anything and everything around the sustainable development goals. So a lot of pooling of technologies is going to happen, a lot of licensing is going to happen, and I'm already in talks with the particular counterparts in different parts of the world, because this whole strata of the Impula network, along with the other technologies, which is achieving not only the SDG goals, but we are also getting into the um, so one of our main vision and mission is to go carbon negative, seeing that the world has changed, as I already talked about in last few discussions, that the way the data has been analyzed, at least the way I have been working for more than 2 decades, in the whole scenario, that nature is the biggest blockchain, and nature has given its verdict that it has been infiltrated. And to overcome this and to stop the menace of what has already happened, we need to negate that with new age technologies. And it's not that the advancement will happen, it has already happened. So internet, perhaps what people never understood, because there are zillion protocols at any given point of time, and these zillion protocols are being worked 24 cross 7, because this portal, which is www, never sleeps. That being said, the nomenclature of the numerical whatever the stuff is, perhaps on the blockchain itself, although it was said that it's 10 minutes and everything, then all the business models, particularly in India, everything started with this discussion of number 10. And then I realized that I have to do something around it, because the kind of menace it was creating in terms of not understanding what blockchain is all about, because the first and the foremost ethos is trust and honesty. These are the two non-negotiable fundamentals of blockchain technology, because that was introduced to overcome the menace what has been done by the stakeholders on a global scale. So that being said, let's just deep dive into this tech. um, so we already talked about wherever the ping is happening, which is a kind of a node. um, it is basically the IP address, but at the IP address, if Zillion is deployed, then a lot can happen. And at one given point of time, you can be at multiple places, and that tech is very easily available. So I'm not getting into that tech, because that is not what I wish to discuss today. I wish to give a basic framework which can be deployed to create the white economy, because even before coming online and talking about whatever we talk about, maybe at whatever intervals we are coming online, before coming online, we make sure these intervals are secured, and this is only part of the white economy. So white economy is basically something which is actually for the benefit of the mankind, which is actually for the benefit for the food chain to thrive, because not many people or folks understand the dumbbell strategy, and most of the folks are at a, I would say at a funnel level, where the understanding is only by the bookish knowledge, because every author is also contemplating and researching on something which is something, not the reality, but the reality of the author, and the author wants you to believe what the author is stating. And after the introduction of AI and everything in terms of the LLMs models and whatnot, anyone and everyone is becoming an author. So that's another menace which needs to be taken care of. Like now, a 10-year or 11-year-old kiddo is launching a book, and oh my gosh, I attended few of these launches, and the kind of words which they were using. I mean, there's, you know, at the tender age of 10 or 11, you don't have to be that deep, because AI is telling you to be that deep. So there would be, and I would say there are a lot of problem statements which need to be resolved along with the SGDs. So let's just dive into this topic. Somebody said hi. Hi, Lord. This Lord word is also like, okay. Uh, this person seems to be a coder. Okay, let's do this. So I generally don't prepare a script before I come online. I already have the tabs ready with me because a lot of work is ongoing. Um, so I am retrieving the data sets and just trying to uh, fortify the same so that it appears to be in a framework which is understood by normal coders also, because I don't want to be very technical when I'm discussing it. So we have this TRX processing and TRX generation. I'm just seeing what is this all about. Okay, so many a times UI itself is called as a communication interface also. So UI can also be taken as CI, that is communication interface. And particularly folks who understand SQL is supposed to be, or it is one of the fundamentals, which is structured query language or the stuff. Now, when we're having these transactions, so there's kind of a transactional database. And anything known to the public at large is public ledger, and something which is private ledger. In this particular architecture, we have transaction processing module and the generic stuff which talks about the processes, the memories, and the transaction database. Okay, let's see what's unique about this. Okay. Many a times when we are talking about the framework, particularly from the point of view of blockchain, perhaps, say for example, there is one particular transaction which is private in nature. When everybody agrees on it, and this also is applicable for DAO and the smart contracts, though it is self-executing at every determination, multiple people, it can be different cores also. Cores particularly states that it's nothing to do with the normal nomenclature of the offline world where we have these chairmans, directors, CEOs, CFOs, CSOs. No, that doesn't work. At least the protocols which we are working on, that doesn't work like that. The way we are understanding what we understand, there's nothing called as a master or a slave. Everyone in the private ledger is an administrator, and when any transaction needs to happen, all the administrators need to agree on that. That's one of the non-negotiables of the blockchain stuff we are working on right now. Okay, so perhaps honestly speaking, the word resistance has a lot of weightage, and resistance per se has a different connotation particularly with the viewpoint of blockchain. So in this resistance, you actually have to put in real money. Real money means something which is there in your bank account. Obviously, that is part of a code only, but it is associated with your social security number or wherever your um, basic base is all about. And this cannot be negotiated with the coins which are being launched in the name of ICOs. ICO stands for initial coin offering, and perhaps ICO itself can be of different types, and there are zillion kind of ICOs. And the ICOs, I'm not very sure how people are now taking up ICOs in Singapore, particularly uh, when I was there back in the year 2018, 2019. Um, I mean, in Marina Bay, every room was, or every hall, not a room, it was a hall. All the halls on all the floors, every hall was orchestrating one ICO. So every hall had one ICO happening simultaneously. And of course, they had the digital footprint, a lot of heat map, but honestly speaking, almost 100% today don't exist. So one needs to understand what blockchain is all about at the first instance. And particularly from that point of view, India needs to understand when they are allowing anybody to launch such a project, there are a lot of gray areas. And generally, blockchain in India is nothing but MLM. MLM is multi level marketing. And that is not blockchain, let me tell you. So perhaps, so one is the resistance where you actually have to invest real money. Then the low barrier to entry. When I say low barrier to entry, that is any wallet, it can be a new wallet also, can vote you or can vote for you while you're already doing the normal transfers. So there's no separate staking transaction or a lockup. Then there is fast economics around the same. It's like the misbehavior of any node is punished by confiscating the fee pool. So the point here is, when I say punishment is definitely a negative connotation of the word. Let's say as a candidate who really wants to learn blockchain, they might not know what blockchain is all about, and they might do a transaction which they are not supposed to do. In that particular case, that transaction is halt. Halt is HALT. You halt the transaction, and it is only unlocked when that particular candidate undergoes multiple, I would say, kind of different courses, so that the pendulum of that person in terms of the behavioral pattern can come back to normal. So that's one of the ways where we are identifying or talking about the fast economics. Then network delay is not allowed. The way we work, there is no network delay, it's real time. So perhaps this particular framework, I'm not very convinced. It is more to bluff the person who is reading the application, because not everything which you see online is the reality of that particular architecture. That being said, what is important here to understand blockchain in terms of the, I would be very honest here, I have been going through a lot of data sets, particularly in last couple of hours, both in the online world, in the offline world. We have our different models doing different research, and then those research are popping up before me, and then I have to see which one I should be picking up and talking about it. One very important impact always has been the copyright around books, the copyright around songs, the copyright around singing, the copyright around actors. However, now anyone and everyone is an actor. It's just that this portal of internet has given folks the opportunity to be an actor where you are entertaining the masses at large. And this just blew up heavily since 2020, because lockdown happened, COVID happened, people came online, loads of people and actors came online. Actors here are the candidates who came online for the very first time. Perhaps the bootstrapping of the intellectual stuff which is being ongoing, it is being debated even by ILO. ILO is International Labour Organization, and ILO for the longest time has been debating what should be the cost or what should be the royalty around anything and everything. So perhaps I have been very vocal about the fact entertainment is one aspect, entertainment is not the core, or entertainment is not the outcome. At least what I'm doing right now, entertainment is not the outcome. Entertainment is one of the, I would say, catalyst. Entertainment is just catalyst, because I was going through this stuff whereby this particular application is called as Spotify. The guy was being questioned by the court people as to the distribution of money in terms of because people are listening to Spotify, and the money distribution is not even out. And perhaps because I have been into intellectual property rights, I would rather say now all my life, and very deeply had those conversations, very deeply have seen those agreements. The simple answer is smart contracts, and you have to be different and first come. First come is, that means it's not the first person who is introducing that, because then you don't want to get into the hassle. You have to be so ahead of the curve in terms of your understanding that by the time others in the same sector are trying to catch up with you, you're already ahead. Again, you're already ahead of the curve. That is the mindset one needs to have. Applications are just there for you to perhaps look into the, or it's a platform whereby as a candidate you are sharing what you wish to share, and you have to be different in terms of zillion parameters. Even like I'm part of longevity in time biotech that's based out in US, but our whole team is global right now, and it's working wonderfully. It's already, I think, Oleg Tetrin, he's the producer of the movie Chef. If you have not watched the movie, please go and watch it. And it's almost 7+ years. For me, it's like almost how many years? I don't even remember, because I'm part of so many, like I'm CSO of so many projects, and I have those saves, I have those vesting clauses. So that's how we are working right now on a remote basis. The point of contention here is, for the entertainment industry, which is just a catalyst, what you bring on the table becomes very important, and the shelf life of the same would depend on what are your activities based on zillion parameters. It's not one parameter, and your previous parameter has no value, because the DAOs are way ahead of the curve, and there's not one DAO, two DAOs, there's zillion DAOs. Zillion are there on the online world. Zillion are still they want to keep themselves secretive, but they're still working. And because one of these sectors of DAO is so ahead of the curve, the second is the cybersecurity aspect. So cybersecurity, you need to look into this hashtag CERT, C as in Congo, E as in elegant, R as in Rome, T as in Tango. So when you see this, you will understand that these two sectors are way ahead of the curve in terms of the portal which people are utilizing right now, and that has led to the opening of other portals also. So that portals are like, the onboarding is still, I mean, only few I would say handful or handpicked a part of that portal. And for others to reach there, there is a long journey, maybe a 20 years journey, 40 years journey, 60 years journey, depending upon how you are utilizing the resources at hand to create what you can create in a given set of schemes. So that's my submission right now. uh, have questions, DM, and then we'll look into it today. At least this time zone, okay, this time zone is 20th September 2025. It's a Saturday. In IST time zone, it is 18:55. So signing off for now. Have a great weekend ahead.